Hello Rog fans, today we're Rog ranting about where have the adults gone? When the Rog was a child, there were lots of adults. Adults were easy. You could easily tell who an adult was. And nothing to do with age, it was to do with attitude and the way they spoke. They were very clear and concise about what they could and couldn't do. They made decisive actions, either straight away or they thought about it for a while. They would plan things, they would learn things, and they would share what they know. So, where have they gone? Because language is a good one, because when we start as little babies, and then we grow into children, unless of course you spend 8 hours a day being mind controlled by that, in which case you don't go from a baby to a child. No. According to that, you go from baby to a kid. And what is a kid? A baby goat, a soulless, unsentient monster, isn't it really, compared to a human? It's a horrible thing. They're horrible things. They're aggressive, self-centred, destructive, antisocial. Oh, that sounds like the devil, who was otherwise known as the Goat of Mendes. Ah, so people who watch that, they don't have human children, they have kids. They have the spawn of Satan. Russ, why would you call your child a goat unless you're a retard? So, or uneducated, of course. So little baby, and then you become a human child if you're in the real world. If you're not the spawn of Satan, then you're a human child. And human child, around 7, 8, 9, when the old cortex and the old neocortex and all that jazz, and the neurons have all started to get some lovely nice structure, their language becomes more formal, more structured, which they copied from their parents in the days when we had adults. And when they get to teenage years, and they've got a much more superior intellectual understanding of what goes on, they start to play with it. They start to play amongst their friends with words, and they start to invert versions or give words different meanings, or use words as swear words that weren't normally. For example, when the Rog was in the indoctrination camps, and he got into the mid-level, the group of teenagers there in the class decided that the words that and bottom would now be insults. And so when a teacher admonished an unruly teenager, he said, "That, miss," and everybody laughed. Because she didn't understand, because she's an adult, she wouldn't understand that. We had adults in those days, didn't we? And then occasionally she would say, "What did you mean?" She says, "Bottom, miss," and they'd all laugh. And socks was an insult as well. Everything's gone to socks. Which is quite interesting. But then when they come out of the adolescent phase, traditionally what used to happen, and they go into the initial stages of wage slavery, so they could spend 50 years of their life doing a menial, hopeless task for next to nothing to make somebody above them rich, so they can live a life of opulence and privilege off the backs of their labour, while they live on their own in a flat with one bar of a heater and only £3,000 a year to live on. Thank you so much, democracy. Their language becomes more formal, more structured. Now, when they become much more developed into the system of slavery, many years later, and might even braid slaves of their own, their language becomes fully matured and structured and direct and concise. And that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, why? Where's it gone? With that, it seems we get the baby stage. We have the child, or all the people who watch that. It's born of Satan, the child of the Goat of Mendes. And then gets the adolescent stage of immaturity. But then psychologically, as they go, it doesn't change. They're still psychologically adolescent. Even though physiologically they're actually decaying at a fast rate because they're poisoning themselves with all this crap that they're eating in vast amounts, because that tells them to, it promotes it to them, and for some reason that controls their minds and their perceptions, so they just destroy themselves, which isn't mature either. And they stay in this adolescent mental state for their entire lives. And it's terrifying to sit in a room with people who are 40, 50, 60, talking and acting like adolescents. Where the hell have the adults gone? An adolescent cannot raise an adult, cannot raise a child to become an adult, because they haven't got the psychology of an adult. Is this the end times for humanity? Tinfoil hat. It's just bizarre. Where the hell have they all gone? And why is it that the vast majority of so-called adults are all recessive? They're all obedient and compliant and subservient. That's not a human nature. We're not cattle. We're individuals. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, I really like wearing this top. I really like wearing this top. But I don't want to wear it in public because I'd stand out. I don't really want to stand out because it had some sort of slogan on it that was a little bit banned subject scenario, stating some small facts that if the Rod repeated those small facts about this marketing term, big bada boom. So, and I said, well, and the person said, well, it's not really what I want to do if I want to fit in. I thought, there's an oxymoron. How do you fit in to a society of individuals? There's nothing to conform to. It's individuality. And have you noticed that these people, they're almost like clones of each other? They all stare at the same things in the mind control box. They talk the same childish language as the mind control box and as adolescents. But they're not as intelligent as adolescents. I wager that the average 7 to 12-year-old has got a lot more ability to solve problems than these people have. Because they're not completely mind-muddled. It's bizarre. Where have the adults gone? Do you know of any adults? Have you met one? Have you met someone who doesn't say like in everything's like and indeterminate? Well, you know 16 times in a second. Have you met somebody who actually says clear, decisive, constructive things? And the other thing the adolescents don't do, they don't plan anything. They'll just say, oh, I need to buy a new laptop, but I don't know about laptops. But I've got to have one now. They're always in a rush. Everything's got to be in a rush because they're overly materialistic. They don't plan for anything, and they don't learn about what it is that they're going to do. They're going to buy. They don't learn about it. It's very rare. If it's something that they actually have an interest in, they will. But if they go, I've got to buy a computer for work, I've got to buy a laptop I've got a laptop because the illegal law says that I've got to stay at home quarantined even though I've got no sign of infection, which is illegal. I've got to buy a laptop, but I know nothing about laptops. And I'll say that, and 2 months later, they'll be saying, I need to buy a laptop for work, but I know nothing about laptops. Classic adolescent. Don't want to take the responsibility. Why didn't they learn about laptops in that 2 months? Why did they make no effort to learn it? An adult would. An adult would say, I don't know anything about vacuum cleaners. I haven't got a sausage of a clue. I'm going to go and ask I'm going to ask people who've got vacuum cleaners, what vacuum cleaners do they like? I'm going to go and see if I can't find a book on vacuum cleaners. Actually, that'd be interesting to know how vacuum cleaners work, because I know how to get the best one, wouldn't I? But they don't do that. Where have the adults gone? Have you met one? Do you know one? Do you know anybody who doesn't speak like the television, wear shorts for no apparent reason, put on loads of weight, eat crap and talk rubbish, and make reckless financial decisions, and can actually express themselves emotionally in every vista of experience, clearly and concisely, directly to someone, without insecurity? Self-consciousness is a sign of immaturity. Where are the adults? If you know where they are, pop it in the old comments, or some comments. Agree, disagree, doesn't matter. It's a freedom of speech. And don't forget, it's not reality, it's YouTube.